Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. So the time has come once again. We are approaching awards season and everything is kicking off with the Golden Globes 2022 nominations. Now, earlier this year, the Golden Globes were struck by some scandal, by quite a bit of scandal. Their name was dragged through the mud alongside the name of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, which is the group of voters that vote on the Golden Globe nominations and ultimately the winners as well. It was not a great year for the Golden Globes, and even though a lot of the information that came out about the Hollywood Foreign Press Association has been known in the industry for a very, very long time and has even been joked about in Golden Globe ceremonies, the fact that everything came out in the open and we actually got to see statistics and receipts and whatnot really made a bad situation worse. So even though we did see the announcement of the nominations for next year's ceremony, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association did make it clear that the Golden Globe ceremony is going to look different this time around because of the scandal that still hovers above the organization. And the president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association did also try to emphasize the fact that they have put in place some actions to ensure that they're going to do better in the future, that this was a time of reflection for them and now they're thinking of ways to improve. They've diversified the group, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association kind of group that votes on these awards, as I said, and it's the most diverse group in all 79 years of the Golden Globes, which is like not saying much. It's not saying much because of all 79 years of the Golden Globe, please, like we know what that means. You know, the idea of diversity is relatively new in this organization, so boasting about its diversity this year after the huge scandal that it had earlier on in the year, I mean, it's really not the flex that the HFPA think that it is. And also apparently, according to the HFPA president, there is going to be more of a focus on the philanthropic efforts of the organization in this year, or rather next year's ceremony, which I think is just like a diversion, no? I think that's just like a nice little distraction, something to kind of distract you from, you know, the negative feelings and perceptions that the HFPA have been under this year. And it's weird that the president of the organization kind of announced that that's basically what they're going to be doing. They're going to be distracting everyone, like, look over here, look at all of these charitable efforts. I wouldn't have bragged about that quite yet, but fine, you know, you do you, I guess. And speaking of the disastrous situation and the ceremony itself, this ceremony is not going to be aired on NBC. It was announced quite a few months back, so it's going to be a weird situation. I don't know how we're going to see the winners of these awards. Is it just going to be an email? Like, do I just sign up? Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but like I said before, this is a very different year for the Golden Globes. But for me, it's not really about the Hollywood Foreign Press Association or about the Golden Globes themselves. The only reason why I'm really covering this is because I want to start getting an idea of what Hollywood is thinking in terms of the nominations for the, you know, big awards, and of course, notably the Oscars. Now, this year overall was particularly tricky because it doesn't feel like there is a strong front runner quite yet. A lot of the films in particular that were nominated for these Golden Globes haven't even been released in the UK and have not received wide releases quite yet in the US either. So this is going to be a shocking awards ceremony when it comes to ratings, I can already predict, because even though, you know, some of these films are actually available on streaming, a lot of them aren't that popular. Like The Power of the Dog, no one was talking about The Power of the Dog, okay? Like, please, these films are very obscure and I feel like there are a few in there that people may tune in for, but other than that, this awards season feels like it's going to be very inside baseball. So it might as well just be an email, quite frankly, because no one's going to tune in for the ceremony if it is aired on TV. But with all of that being said, now it's time to delve into my thoughts on the individual categories in this nominations list. But before we do that, as per usual, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and make sure you turn on your notifications so that you can be told when I upload next. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the nominations for the Golden Globes 2022. So the first nominees that we're going to be talking about are from the TV show categories. I'm not quite sure yet how long this video is going to be, so I am bracing myself just in case I need to do a two-parter like I did the last time around for the 2021 Golden Globe nominations. So hopefully there won't be an abrupt halt because I haven't been able to cover both the movie and TV show categories in one video, but I am more passionate and honestly more knowledgeable about the TV show categories, so we're going to start off with them here. But either way, if it is all in one video, there's always timestamps down in the description box so you guys can hop around to whichever categories suit you best. But the first category that we have here is Best Performance by an Actress in a Television Series Drama, and here the nominees are Uzo Aduba for In Treatment, Jennifer Aniston for The Morning Show, Christine Baranski for The Good Fight, Elizabeth Moss for The Handmaid's Tale, and Michaela J. Rodriguez, aka MJ Rodriguez, for Pose. So this is a strong category in my opinion. I feel like all of these ladies in this category did an exceptional job with their performances in their respective seasons of television. I did get a chance to watch In Treatment and I think Uzo was phenomenal. She was the best part of that series. I understood what In Treatment was trying to accomplish, but I feel like it fell short in some ways, and I feel like if there is a second season with her, which I hope there is, there are a few things that they need to kind of tweak in order to make the series a bit more engaging from start to finish and also give us a bit more satisfaction when it comes to her storyline specifically. But still I do think she gave an excellent performance in the series, so I'm glad to see her be nominated here. I don't really have much to say about Jennifer Aniston in The Morning Show because I don't watch The Morning Show and neither do you. And then we have Christina Baranski, who's nominated here for some reason. Like, did The Good Fight come back on air? I thought it was already off air or something. I actually don't know anything about this series other than it's a spin-off of The Good Wife, right? Like, that's all I know. Don't really know why she's nominated here though. Like, was there like a reboot of this show? I'm not sure. Elizabeth Moss in The Handmaid's Tale, always excellent, like always brilliant. Perhaps we take her performance for granted in this series and that's why I'm not making a big fuss over it, but she is exceptional. But either way, okay, I'm going to implore the Hollywood Foreign Press Association not to mess up this opportunity that it has to actually vote for MJ Rodriguez for Pose. It was the final season of Pose this year and I think she more than deserves it for her incredible work, for her groundbreaking work on the series. So let's not mess around here, okay? Some of these other ladies have other chances, but I think MJ Rodriguez should absolutely take home the Golden Globe for all that it's worth, which apparently isn't much. Okay, so next category we have is Best Performance by an Actor in a TV Series Drama, and here the nominees are Brian Cox for Succession, Lee Jung-jae for Squid Game, Billy Porter for Pose, Jeremy Strong for Succession, Omar Sy for Lupin. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, what a category. What a beautiful category. I'm not even gonna lie. When I saw Omar Sy's name in there, I was like, there is justice, okay? There is hope in the world. There is hope. I bet you the Hollywood Foreign Press Association was like, listen, we can't mess up. We can't mess up this year. We need to make sure that, you know, where the diversity lies, it is a diversity that people are expecting, especially after shenanigans that took place with Michaela Cole not getting a nomination last year. I think they were really on their A game. Like, they could not afford a scandal around lack of representation representation in this nominees list. But I am so happy to see Omar Sy get recognized for his incredible work on GLOBES, because that was truly a phenomenal series from Netflix, and he really did stand out in this series, you know, alongside the fact that it is an excellent show. But he was just such an incredible, charismatic lead. Like, yes, I would absolutely give it to Omar Sy, actually. Okay, I think Billy Porter has gotten some gold for his performance in Pose. I would still give it to him if it was like a lesser category, because I do think he was great in this final season, but still, because he has gotten lauded for his performance in Pose previously, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of, you know, look to someone else a little bit here. In the case of Lee Jung-jae, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but of course, like, Squid Game was the moment. Squid Game was absolutely the moment. Like, it was a cultural reset in the most literal sense, and so I wouldn't be surprised if the Hollywood Foreign Press Association got a clue and nominated this actor for leading such an incredible and honestly, like, culturally relevant series. And then we have the Succession boys. I don't even know what to say at this point, because I have a feeling that the Succession boys may cancel each other out, although considering how many nominations Succession actually got all around from the Golden Globes, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them won either. So it really is a toss-up with this category. I'm happy with every single nomination here because it's just all excellence. It's all excellence, but I'm rooting for Omar Sy. Like, if Omar Sy's name is announced, I would whoop, whereas everyone else, I'd be like, yeah, well done. If it was Omar Sy, I'd be like, yes, yes. Okay, so next up we have Best Supporting Actress in a Television Series. For the supporting roles, there are only one category each for actress and actor. So for actress, we have Jennifer Coolidge for White Lotus, Caitlin Dever for Dope Sick, Andy McDowell for Maid, Sarah Snook for Succession, and Hannah Waddingham for Ted Lasso. So this category isn't split up from drama and musical / comedy. Everyone's just kind of mixed in together there. I think this is a very strong category, albeit very pale. It is a very pale category, but it is very strong. These performances are incredible. The only one that I haven't seen is Caitlin Dever in Dope Sick, but she is a phenomenal actress, so I wouldn't be surprised if she gave an excellent performance on that series. In the case of Jennifer Coolidge, I do think she was one of the best parts of White Lotus. I didn't really love White Lotus from earlier this year. I felt like it kind of missed the mark on a lot of the social commentary that it was trying to reach for, but Jennifer Coolidge's character was pretty excellent, and the way that she portrayed her was pretty excellent. She's such a messy character. She's such a hypocritical character. Yeah, like, whole essays could be written about that character, honestly, and, you know, who she represents and who we actually see in the real world. As she was definitely one of the best parts of the series, so it makes sense that she would be one of the few things that is lauded from the show. In terms of my personal pick when it comes to this category, perhaps Hannah Waddingham for Ted Lasso, or Andy McDowell for Maid. Like, I would love to see Maid take home as many awards as it can. For those of you who checked out my What I've Been Watching video, you'll know that I did watch Maid on Netflix, and it is a phenomenal series. It is an excellent limited series, and I want Maid to take home as many awards as it can afford to, because some of the other categories where it's nominated, like, they're tough. They're really tough, even though it deserves to be there. But if there's anywhere where it could just snag some gold, I would say that perhaps it would be in this category, and I think Andy McDowell would absolutely deserve to take the gold home. Okay, so next up we have Best Supporting Actor in a Television Series, and we have Billy Crudup for The Morning Show, Kieran Culkin for Succession, Mark Duplass, is it Duplass or Duplass, for The Morning Show, not quite sure there, Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso, and Oh Young-soo for Squid Game. Okay, so this is also a tricky category. I have seen the majority of these series except for The Morning Show, and, you know, like I said, neither of you, because who cares about that series. I think this should go to Kieran Culkin. I think this should go to Kieran Culkin. Yup, it's a tricky one because for me it would be between Brett Goldstein and Kieran Culkin, but because Brett Goldstein already took home the Emmy, I think I'm more than comfortable with Kieran Culkin taking home the Golden Globe. I am a bit nervous because Succession is airing at the moment, and by the time that the Emmys of 2022 come around, a lot of time would have passed and perhaps people will forget about his excellent performance this season. So let's just give him gold now. Let's just give him the gold now, and then we can rest easy for the performances to come in 2022. I think this is definitely something that Kieran Culkin should absolutely go home with. And once again, love seeing some of the Squid Game cast get recognition here. I would be happy with Oh Yun-soo winning the Golden Globe as well, because I think he was great, exceptional in the series. But yeah, a large part of me feels like it is a fight between Brett Goldstein and Kieran Culkin, and I think Kieran Culkin should win this one. Okay, so next up we have Best Television Series Drama, you know, the whole shebang. And here the nominees are Lupin from Netflix, The Morning Show from Apple TV Plus, Pose from FX, Squid Game from Netflix, and Succession from HBO/HBO Max, whatever that means. Succession is probably gonna win. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that personally. If I had things my way, I would want Squid Game to win personally. I just feel like it had such a huge cultural impact. Like, it really did transcend across borders around the world to become one of the most watched TV series on Netflix. I think it's extraordinary. So I actually would say Squid Game, and on top of course the hype around the series, it was actually a good show. Like, it's actually a great and very well written series. So give it to Squid Game, please. Like, please give it to Squid Game. I have a feeling they're going to give it to Succession, because Succession is kind of like, you know, the crown for HBO, at least since Game of Thrones is no longer a thing. But ultimately, I do feel like this award should go to Squid Game, especially because I believe most of the cast will be overlooked in their respective categories. So at least give Netflix this one because it more than deserves it. Okay, so now we're going into the comedy/musical series categories, and the first one up is Best Television Actor in a Musical/Comedy Series. Here we have Anthony Anderson in Blackish, Nicholas Hoult in The Great, Steve Martin for Only Murders in the Building, Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building, and Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso. So that is a very, very strong category. But I would say, to cut a long story short, that Jason Sudeikis is probably going to take this one home. But maybe not though, because he did take home the Golden Globe this year for the 2021 ceremony. So maybe they're going to give it to someone else. And if they are going to give it to someone else, may I suggest they hand it over promptly. Hand it over to Nicholas Hoult for season 2 of The Great, because he absolutely deserves it. And I do feel like his work on The Great is simply great. It's simply divine. And he deserves recognition for it 100%. So hand him over the Golden Globe, please. Jason Sudeikis is excellent always in Ted Lasso, not saying otherwise, but he already has the Golden Globe from last year. Like, he's still polishing it off, okay? He's still staring at it with, you know, him and the Golden Globe in the mirror, just in shock. He's still in that mode. So why don't we just hand it over to Nicholas Hoult, and Jason Sudeikis won't even notice at this point. And in terms of the Only Murders in the Building, guys, I feel like this is the whole purpose of that series, right? Like, I feel like that's what they wanted, to have Steve Martin and Martin Short, these like legendary comedic actors in this series. I think that was part of the package, but I don't feel like the series was strong enough to go up against something like, you know, Nicholas Hoult in The Great and Jason Sudeikis in Ted Lasso. Like, I really don't think that series is quite up there in terms of comedy or performance or writing or anything. Okay, so next up we have Best Actress in a TV Series, Musical or Comedy, and here we have Hannah Einbinder from Hacks, Elle Fanning from The Great, Issa Rae for Insecure, Tracee Ellis Ross for Blackish, and Jean Smart for Hacks. Now, Jean Smart got a lot of praise and some gold for her performance in Hacks. I still haven't seen Hacks yet, something that I keep forgetting to check out. So perhaps she is a front runner because she did already take home the Emmy for her performance in this series. But I personally want this to go straight to Issa Rae. Like, I'm sorry to be the stereotypical black woman rooting for another black woman, but I want this to go to Issa Rae. Like, this is the final season of Insecure. It's the final season. Like, I'm heartbroken that I can't cover Insecure on a weekly basis because I'm like way too busy, but I'm just loving the final season of the show, and I'm dreading the end, the ultimate end of this series. I think she deserves to take home a Golden Globe for what she's achieved on American television, having this series about these black women in their early 30s, just trying to figure out life, you know, trying to create their own paths, and the good, the bad, the ugly, everything is shown and laid bare there brilliantly. And then you have this overtone of comedy, of cheekiness. I just think it's exceptional, and I think Issa Rae deserves to take home the gold for what she has achieved just in the landscape of television with this series. And I know it's not going to get like best comedy or anything overall, so where she's nominated, hand it over to her. Having said that though, you know, Elle Fanning is exceptional in The Great. I wouldn't be surprised if they hand the award over to her because her performance in season 2 is phenomenal, just as it was in season 1. But because we are reaching the end of Insecure, I do think it would be nice if the Golden Globes, you know, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, gave Issa her gold while they still can. Not to say that this is the last series that she's going to be famous for and like lauded for, but this is the one that started it all, and I think she deserves to take home some gold for that. And now we reach Best Television Series, Musical or Comedy, and here the nominees are The Great from Hulu, Hacks from HBO/HBO Max, what the hell is that, Only Murders in the Building from Hulu, Reservation Dogs from FX on Hulu, and Ted Lasso from Apple TV Plus. Ted Lasso should absolutely win. Ted Lasso should absolutely win, even though I don't think that season 2 was quite as bombastic as season 1 was, mostly because season 1 was such a shock, honestly, but still there were some themes in season 2 that didn't quite always land, so I feel like this series kind of fell a little bit short in comparison to the first season, but I still think Ted Lasso is the strongest of the group. Now, Reservation Dogs is an interesting one. I saw the trailer for that series and I thought it was absolutely fascinating, finally having a show that gives us Native American representation. I think that's extraordinary. I just forgot to check it out, honestly, unfortunately. Like, I literally just forgot to check it out on Hulu, aka, you know, Disney Plus's Star here in the UK. So I will do so. I will try and do so before the end of the year. My to-do list is like insane right now. It's insane, but I will try and check out this series so that I can have it up for running when it comes to best TV shows of the year, which we're approaching. And in the case of Hacks, like I said, I haven't watched it, I keep forgetting. The Great season 2 was perfect, exceptional, but I think what drives that series mostly are the phenomenal performances of the co-leads, Elle Fanning and Nicholas Hoult. But yeah, I would still give it to Ted Lasso, you know, all of that being said. Okay, so next up, we're getting into the limited series categories, and the first one up I have here is Best Performance by an Actress in a Limited Series, and here the nominees are Jessica Chastain for Scenes from a Marriage, Cynthia Erivo for Genius, Aretha, Elizabeth Olsen for WandaVision, Margaret Qualley for Maid, and Kate Winslet for Mayor of Easttown. I wish this was a tighter race than it actually is, but it's not. Because I'm pretty sure the front runner here is Kate. Like, she's still polishing off her Emmy. She still hasn't taken off her shoes from the Emmy Awards celebrations, but she is likely going to be taking home the Golden Globe for her performance in Mayor of Easttown as well. You know, the Hollywood Foreign Press Press Association love awarding well-known actors, you know, industry favorites. And so Kate Winslet being in this TV series, giving an exceptional performance, it's just like catnip for them. Like, we're gonna eat this shit up. So yeah, they're probably gonna give it to her. Elizabeth Olsen getting a nod from the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Like, I love that for her. Congrats. Margaret Qualley in Maid. If I had things my way, considering the fact that Kate Winslet already took home the Emmy, which she absolutely deserved, but if I had things my way, I would give the Golden Globe to Margaret Qualley for her performance in Maid, because I think she was extraordinary. Extraordinary. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on Maid as a whole, you can check out my video, like I said, the one where I talk about what I've been watching, part 2. Yeah, check that out. That's crammed with a bunch of mini reviews of series that I've been checking out in the last few months. But yeah, I just think Margaret Qualley was outstanding. Like, she was truly outstanding in that series. And again, like, if we just want to achieve a balance here, maybe we let Kate have her Emmy and we let Margaret have her Golden Globe. Okay, so next up we have Best Performance by an Actor in a Limited Series, and here the nominees are Paul Bettany for WandaVision, Oscar Isaac for Scenes from a Marriage, Michael Keaton for Dope Sick, Ewan McGregor for Halston, and Tahar Rahim for The Serpent. It's tough to say who the frontrunner is in this situation. I haven't seen Dope Sick and I haven't seen The Serpent, but I did see Halston, Scenes from a Marriage, and WandaVision, obviously. I would say Paul Bettany is probably like the weakest of all of these performances that I have seen, but it's WandaVision, so you know, if you have Wanda, you gotta have Vision. Oscar Isaac in Scenes from a Marriage was great. He was doing his Oscar Isaac thing. He was everywhere this year. Oscar Isaac was everywhere this year. He was the Pedro Pascal of 2021, because like Pedro Pascal was everywhere in 2020. Oscar Isaac was just everywhere. He was working, okay? He was paying them bills, and he was great in Scenes from a Marriage. And Ewan McGregor, though, Ewan McGregor was exceptional in Halston. There is this debate, of course, because he is a heterosexual actor who's portraying a homosexual character, and a lot of people in the LGBTQ community are just like tired of this nonsense. Like, they're tired of this nonsense, okay? Hollywood. But that being said, he was like really great in Halston. He carried the whole series. Like, he carried that limited series. So I wouldn't be wholly upset with him taking home the gold. Again, he already won the Emmy though, so perhaps let's give it to Oscar Isaac. Maybe the man's been working. The man's been trying, okay? Let's just hand it over to Oscar Isaac. He was one of the best parts of Scenes from a Marriage, so that would make sense to me. Okay, so next up we have Best Limited Series Overall, and here the nominees are Dope Sick from Hulu, Impeachment, American Crime Story from FX, Maid from Netflix, Mayor of Easttown from HBO/HBO Max, and The Underground Railroad from Amazon. So first of all, I really am happy to see The Underground Railroad get some recognition from the Hollywood Foreign Press Association in this category. It was largely ignored everywhere else, which is a shame because Barry Jenkins is a genius. I personally still haven't checked out the entirety of the series. I was so shocked by the first episode and the brutality in those horrific scenes. I hear that it gets better in terms of, you know, more optimistic, but I still struggled to kind of check out the rest of the series because of the shocking events that take place in the first episode and me not wanting to overindulge in black suffering this year, okay? So still haven't seen that one, basically. In the case of Maid, very happy to see it in this category because I feel like it was an incredible series all around, very raw, very authentic, very realistic, and just an incredible series for Netflix to have greenlit. So I'm happy it exists and I'm happy that it is being acknowledged for its greatness. But I do ultimately think either way that Mayor of Easttown is likely to take this one home as well. It was a very strong strong series. You know, Mayor of Easttown and Maid kind of feel like they could exist in the same world, actually, in the same bleak, desaturated grey blue world. But I do feel like, you know, okay, if Mayor of Easttown wins this category, then perhaps we can give the award for, you know, Best Actress in a Limited Series to Margaret Qualley. Perhaps there can be a trade-off there, or vice versa. Like, if we're going to give Kate Winslet the award for her performance, why not give Maid the award for Best Limited Series overall? Like, that's a nice concession, in my opinion. Okay, are you listening, Hollywood Foreign Press Association? But that's it from me. Now that I told you guys my thoughts on the Golden Globes 2022 nominations list, it's time for you guys to let me know what you thought of these nominations down in the comments below. Please be sure to subscribe to catch you videos coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.